Right, hello guys, and welcome to the 9th episode of the Online Trainer Show. So today we've got Luke Johnson on the podcast, who is the founder and owner of Shredded by Science. Also now getting into the supplement game with De Novo Sups, and used to be actually a PT and online coach. So we're going to be able to learn lots today from Luke. So how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, Jack. Yourself?
Yes, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. So really excited to record this episode today and just quiz you on all of the knowledge that you've gained over the years.
32 years.
32 years.
Birthday on Saturday it was Father's Day, so I got a double whammy. It was Father's Day and my birthday. So
double presents, nothing better.
That's it. Two packs of Ferrero Rochers it was.
Awesome. So just give us a bit of an intro about yourself, Luke. Just sort of tell us about how you got started in the online industry and sort of where you are today, obviously, as well.
Yeah, so getting started into online coaching I think I was one of the first to do it.
Yeah.
Len's nearly 6 now, so we're talking 7 years ago.
Wow.
So time flies.
Yeah.
Especially when you have kids, you're like, what the hell? Oh, I've got a 6-year-old. Oh no, I've got a 16-year-old. What's going on? It was mainly due to the fact that when the girlfriend told me she was pregnant, I was like, oh crap, I'm living at home with mummy and daddy. I was lecturing at the time, so I was getting like 33 to 35k a year, which was pretty decent. And when she told me that, I didn't have any debts or anything, but I didn't really have any money to my name, so that was sort of the kick up my arse to be like, okay, let's try and do something.
Yeah.
So at that time I knew Lenny was coming, so I thought I was still doing personal training. I was doing like a boot camp class on a Saturday, and I took on like 1 or 2 people for personal training, like before I was teaching. And then when she told me that, I was like, oh crap, let's do something. So there was 1 or 2 people at the time doing online coaching. And even like, think about now, people just still don't even get what online personal training is. They think you're on Skype or you're on something, you're literally lifting with them, and you're like Mr. Motivator on ITV, but now you're on FaceTime. So people really didn't get what it was then, and it's sort of I still think the Gen Pop people still don't really get it. No. So it was even harder back then. So at the time I wanted to get lean before my son come along as well. So this is when I wanted to be a fitness model, because like you always have to. Everyone wants that fitness model stage. Yeah, I want to be on the front cover of Men's Fitness, Men's Health, Men's anything. As long as it's got men on it, then I want to be on it. So I back then I'd call myself probably bro at the start, and then semi-pro. Like everyone starts off as a bro, and they think carbs are the devil, and like you can't have them for breakfast. You can only have boiled eggs with paprika, with walnuts. Seriously, that was my breakfast for weeks and weeks. Carbs only in the evening. There's good foods and bad foods. So in 10 weeks, I actually got in quite good shape. I ate clean. I also waxed my chest, had spray tans. No, I didn't have spray tans. It was sunbeds, and done a load of baby oil, and was in my sister's flat at the time. And her boyfriend, who's now a husband, was into photography. So he'd done some pictures. So I'd done like 300 push-ups. And then I'm there, and we took some photos. And then I applied to do this. Then I had some really good before and after photos. And I posted that. This was back in the day when Twitter was a thing. Even though Twitter is a thing, if you're into gaming and esports and Twitch, which we might touch base on later. But I don't know. We could go on so many different angles. So then I posted it up on Twitter, like it was a 10-week difference between the photo. The first one's me with a lemon ice with a hairy chest, and the next one was me with so much Johnson baby oil and like pumped up and like everything. None of it was like airbrushed or magnified and stuff like that. And then people just started going, can you coach me? Can you coach me? And I'm like, well, I'm doing 40 hours a week teaching. So I've got my Saturday boot camp class, and I've got a couple of PT clients. And I was like, let me look into this online coaching thing. So I started off just posting on Twitter or Facebook, and I said, I'm looking for 8 people to do 8 weeks body transformation for 100 quid.
Yeah.
So then I was already working, so I weren't going to do this guinea pig trial or free thing, because I was already making money. And it's sort of it depends on when people are like, should I give stuff away for free or should I do this? I always say try and do a competition. And get people to go through some sort of process, some small little barriers to try and get into it rather than just going,
just
here
give
you go,
it,
it's free. But everyone's got different situations. At the time, it wasn't as if I needed money because I had no money. I had money, I just wanted more money. Probably I took on 10 people, and out of the 10, probably 8 of them were old school friends who already knew me, liked me to a certain extent, and trusted that I weren't going to fuck them over and take their money and run off and get more boiled eggs or smoked mackerel. Got some really good results and more before and after photos. And then it just went from there. Then it was Luke Johnson PT.
Yeah.
Then I'm lecturing. Then I managed to save, over the 9-month period, I managed to save about £16,000 to £17,000. I was like, this is pretty good. Like, that's half of my salary.
Yeah.
At that time as well, I then sort of were getting debrode and learning the likes of Alan Aragon, Brad Schoenfeld, Lyle McDonald, Eric Helms, the 3DMJ guys.
Yeah.
And I actually signed up to Alan's research review. And that's when I went from sort of an online coach to an online business in regards to emailing Alan Aragon and saying, would you be up for doing a conference in London? He ignored me. I emailed him again. He got back to me. Oh, shit. Now I'm basically running fitness events.
Yeah.
Once Alan agreed, I then reached out to Brad Schoenfeld, Dr. Brad Schoenfeld, and I was like, I'm the guy who's managed to get Alan Aragon over. He then spoke to Alan. Alan was like, Luke's a good guy. Brad was there. So I had Alan lined up in October, Brad lined up in end of Jan. And then once I got Brad on board, I then reached out to Eric Helms. It was like, I'm the guy who got Alan and Brad to come over to the UK. So it's using that momentum. And I think especially in business, people, once you've got that momentum, you just got to keep rolling with it and make the most of these opportunities. And rather than just going, I'm happy with that and content and pat on the back, it's always looking at how can I keep more. Yeah, what can I do more? Right, I've got the hardest part was getting it started. It's like when you're a personal trainer in a gym or online coaching. The hardest part is getting the first lot of clients.
Yeah.
If you're good at your job and you care about your clients and you get them results and you look after them, then it's like a snowball effect. They start talking, they start getting results, they start meeting their people they haven't seen for ages at a wedding, and they're going, you look amazing. You need to see my trainer, Jack. Oh, where is he based? Because I don't live nowhere near you. Don't worry about it. It's online. What the hell's online training? Oh, well, it's this, and that. And then it sort of goes from there. So then for Alan's conference, I think we turned over like about 28 grand on the weekends. I was like, that's my salary. So my plan was then to go down to part-time teaching. Yeah. Because everyone's like, teaching's a secure job, Luke. This is my mum and dad. And you'll always have a job in teaching and da-da-da-da. And I was like, fuck it. I had X amount of clients online. I then had Alan's conference as proof as in what it could bring in. I then knew I had Brad lined up and Eric lined up. And I thought, right, fuck it. I'm just going to go for it. And I'm just going to quit my job and expand. And that's sort of when Shredded by Science was born. Before we got on, you said most people may not know that Shredded by Science started off as just 3 guys looking to coach young dudes who wanted to get shredded, basically to get sex. So I'm a firm believer that if you're going to create an online business, your avatar, your target audience is probably to be able to provide valuable content to that target audience. It's probably best that you were that target audience, but just a few years prior to that. Yeah. And yeah, just coming up with I learned early on when I was online coaching, I was taking on everyone. I was taking on uni dudes and his mum. True story. Yeah. And there was a big difference between who I actually got results with. She did get results, to be fair. It wasn't a results thing, but it was more of a enjoyment. Yeah. The time invested per client. Yeah, for sure. It's basically making sure that you marry your services to your target audience rather than the other way around. And I think what a lot of people do is they just create this amazing service or this amazing course or whatever it is, and then they try and find people to sign up to it. And there's a disconnect, and like one-to-one in-person personal training won't die purely because someone who has been on every yo-yo diet, who doesn't know the difference between the fat, carb and protein, who doesn't know what a dumbbell or barbell is not going to be a great online client, especially if you're doing premium one-to-one online coaching, if you're doing more of an educational type of semi-personalized group coaching, then I think that works better with females. And that's from experience as well. We tried that with SBS. We had a male group and the female group. The female group enjoyed the community. They enjoyed the Facebook group. The males were sort of more like, I just want my plan, leave me alone. I just want to lift and eat and get shredded. So that's sort of how I started on coaching.
No, it's cool. It's cool to learn the backgrounds of it, because obviously, like, getting into obviously Shredded by Science, like from the online coaching bit, we're going to come on to later. And I kind of want to just revert back to, I guess, what you would ideally say the first steps for those wanting to get an online business, because there'll be a lot of personal trainers listening to this that are probably unsure of how to go about it, what they need to do. So I guess what would the things that you did back then to get into online? Is it just a case of just starting, or is it having some sort of processes in place first?
Yeah, anything in business is just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many online training academies and fitness guru marketers who are so great that they have to slide into your DMs to say, I can do your Facebook ads and It's like, just go fuck off. But my thing is, if you're really good at marketing, then why don't you be really good at marketing your own business rather than trading your time for money and saying, oh, you can spend a day with me for $1,000, or you can spend do you know what I mean? It's just annoying side of things. But I think what most people do is, what I did, I just basically created a post. I think it's putting stuff out there and holding yourself accountable. It's like when I done my prep, I documented it on YouTube because I needed that accountability for me to say, right, shit, everyone knows I'm doing this now. It's put up or shut up.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, through like SBS and having probably over 1,000 trainers in some way, shape or form in regards to training them, educating them, I think a lot of them is just sort of, they just don't do it. Like, they have so many ideas, they spend so much time, energy, money in things without actually testing the waters or doing something. I mean, when I first started off, it was just put a photo up and say, I'm looking for this. And then it's like, oh shit, people want it. It was like the whole Alan Aragon thing. Do it, oh shit, he wants it. Now I've got to do it. So now it's looking at, what do I need to do now to do so? And you can't expect yourself to be able to get it right first of all. And you should look back at your old systems and realize, my goodness, why the hell did I put an Excel spreadsheet with grid lines on and a picture of me in the top left corner topless? Why did I do that? Obviously at the time when I was younger, I'm thinking, yeah, that's what people want. They just want to see me on their spreadsheet with me topless, like a really small square image, which was horrendous.
You still got them?
I can dig them out somewhere. Yeah. I think people are in a better position now to start online coaching, because they're like, I done the online coaching blueprint course ages way back, where it sort of took people through the process of setting up your systems. Now, systems are very good because it enables you to set up a client very quickly, and it enables you to take on more clients. The more clients you can take on, the more money you can make. However, when I first started off, it was literally pretty much like it would take me 6 to 8 hours to set up a client, because I would go back on the calculator and be like, their body weight times 2 grams for protein, and I would do that manually. I would then write them like a Word document, which would save as a PDF, and everything would be tweaked. And I think with online coaching, to grow the online business, you've got the whole world to target, which means there's a lot more competition. But then what it enables you to do is really niche down who you want to target, who you want to work with. Is it natural athletes? Is it enhanced athletes? Is it young dudes? Is it older dudes? Is it dads? Is it mums? Is it powerlifters, bodybuilders? And I think with online, to grow an online following, you can't try to appeal to a load of people. On a gym floor, I can go and talk to a variety of different people about different subjects, with different mannerisms, with different tones, with different vocabulary. I can do that on the gym floor. I can do that in person. You can work a floor And you just like, you go to a wedding and you go up and you see your uncles and you ain't seen them for a while, and there's that one uncle who's 45, 50 years of age but still thinks he's 20.
Yeah.
And still wants to try and break dance. So you have a bit of banter with him, and then you go and speak to your great nan, and do you know what I mean? So you change that. With online, to grow an online business on online following via social media, you just can't do that, because if I'm putting that content to appeal to you, Jack, on Monday, and then on Tuesday for Sally, and then on Wednesday to Gladys, you'll get people follow you and then they'll just unfollow you. Like, you can't build a following. So in regards to systems and stuff like that, you just need to do it. But there's so many, even when I've been doing more SEO stuff recently, like I don't really do a lot of learn. What I do is I need to know something, and I get obsessed and learn about that. So for like the last few weeks, I'm like SEO. And there's quite a lot of more search now when it comes to personal trainer software. Yeah. So people are looking at this. Online training is a lot more popular now. People are weighing up the options, as in, do I go with like a Trainerizer, Fitbot, or some sort of online coaching software where I have to pay X amount of money? Or do I go G Drive? Do I go Dropbox? Do I go OneBox, or whatever the hell they want to call them nowadays, and do it myself? So my thing would be, get your systems in place, but don't be that trainer going, I need a website. I need this. I need that. You don't need shit. Like,
I've only just got my website. I'm doing it for a year now.
Your website is your Instagram, because you've got just under 50k followers. That's your website. Like, people buy into people, and if you're putting out good, valuable content to a specific avatar, to a specific target audience, people will then start to get to know you. And if you're doing more than the other people who have the same target audience, they're probably going to pick you over the other person. Yeah. So just don't wait for perfect, because it just never come. But always be striving for adapting things. How can I make it quicker? So I went from 6 to 8 hours to like 40 minutes. Yeah. To sign up a new client. Yeah. It's having those systems in place and tweaking it. But the other thing is, by having a specific target audience, your coaching documentation can be pretty similar. So like your guide to a startup guide would be very similar, because you have a similar target audience. Yeah. So a lot of, even we done a survey in our SBS client group, and this was like SBS clients and Shreddication at the time, so it weren't like one-to-one clients. And we said, do you track macros? And like 95% of them said yes. So to me, that meant we done a pretty good job, because we were appealing to a target audience that liked to track, who enjoyed nutrition, enjoyed monitoring their progress, was motivated to track, was motivated to train. And if you have a wide variety of different types of clients, that means you have to have a wide variety of documentation, of guides, of different approaches. Everything should be personalized. But let's be honest, someone signs up and it's a young dude, what are you going to get them on? An upper lower split? Chest back buys? Legs, shoulders, tries? Are you going to go whole body? Do you know what I mean? It's being efficient it's spending that little bit extra time at the start to get templates up. Yeah. And then tweaking, rather than doing everything from scratch every single time.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that's the thing I think a lot of people realize is, if you've got the systems in place, and if you've got even just like templated programs which you can adapt when someone comes on board. Like if someone comes on board and they're training 4 times a week, if you've got upper lower templated programs made up and they can't for some reason do squats, or they don't like a leg press or something, you just take that out, adjust the volumes to suit their training age, and you've saved yourself at least a couple hours writing up a new program each time. So there's always ways to make things a lot more efficient, and there's nothing wrong with still doing that, as long as it's still suited to them at the end of the day. So yeah, it's definitely a true thing having the systems in place. So one thing I guess I want to ask for you is, when a lot of trainers probably listening, they've got probably like 20, 30 clients, and I think a lot of people will see 50 as like the holy grail of online coaching. You've made it once you've hit 50 clients, that's it. Like, how do you go from that many to sort of 50? Like, what was the best thing that you did that really grew your online coaching business and took your client numbers sort of through to the full potential you could handle?
Yeah, I mean, online coaching ain't all that. Like, that's what I'm going to say. Like, having 50 clients, if you're charging X amount of money, you're still like capping yourself. That's still 50 programs you need to update each month. That's still 50 people who potentially could email you every day. That's still 50 weekly updates you need to do.
Yeah.
And you might be like, oh, I'm going to do video replies to every single client. And you do that when you've got 5 clients, but you try and do that when you've got 50 and you've got poverty Wi-Fi. And you then got to upload 50 little videos to your YouTube channel as unlisted and share them with your clients. And then you go, oh, it's really good because it's personalized. But then I can't remember what the fuck I told that person because it's in a video and it's like 7 weeks ago. And that's the thing. So I know it sounds a bit weird, but I'm coming on it. I'm like, look, if you're an online coach and you just take on clients, you are exactly the same as an impersonal personal trainer, as in you're still trading your time for money and you're still limiting yourself. That there's a thing as in, can I take on more clients to make more money? Yes, but then what happens when you get to 50? That's a lot of clients to handle. Like at one time, me personally, I probably only had 30. With SBS, that's when the business model changes, because we went from 3 coaches to 6 to 12 coaches and ongoing and stuff like that. But then the problem then comes down to the coaches getting their cut, even though you don't do the work, and it's just literally new client signs up, they complete the forms, they pay, and it comes through via email PDF, and you upload that into a Dropbox folder and you share that with the coach, and then you go, there you go, coach them. Yeah, it's not a lot of work. But then it's a lot of work to get the right coaches in the first place. It's a lot of work to then be able to keep maintaining that. And you're still limiting yourself. Once you're VAT registered and the coach is getting their cut, the HMRC are getting their cut, and you're left with like, oh, I'm getting 10, 15 quid a month for a bloody client. Yes, I'm not doing anything. But again, it's looking at us. There's different levels to business. And that's what I've learned from my own personal coaching online to having a team of 12 coaches.
Yeah.
To then having Shredded by Science as an online education provider, to then having de novo when I have to spend 100 grand on product for a run. Like there's different levels for business. You start off with pounds, it then goes to hundreds of pounds, it then goes to thousands, it then goes to 100,000, and then it goes on to millions. And there's many levels of business. So to answer your question, rather than putting everyone off to do online coaching, my thing is,
no one's going to want to be an online coach anymore.
Yes, right. But that's the thing. When you're an online coach, it sounds amazing because you think, I can work from anywhere in the world. It's like, like I know you've had GG on, Gordon Greenhorn, who's a good friend of mine, and he travelled for a year, and he still was able to do online coaching and stuff like that, which is good. But he's always limiting himself to what he can actually earn or what he can do. And my first thing would be like, what is it that you want in life? And then, because everyone has different ambitions and stuff they want to do. Everyone has different skills. Everyone has different personalities or work ethic. And that's very individual. So it's hard to give specific advice on a podcast where there's multiple different listeners who have different levels of work ethic, different ambitions. What I would say is, to go 20 to 30 to 50, it's not much harder. It's not harder. You just need to think of yourself as a media company. There's stages of getting people to sign up. There's people need to know who the fuck I am. We can classify that as brand awareness. Is that you on Instagram with your titties out and your abs or your arse? Then well done. You've just got awareness. That's cool. But awareness alone isn't going to get someone to pay you 100 to 150 pound a month.
Yeah.
So there's different stages. So one, you need to, like, if no one knows who the hell you are, no one's going to even get to, like, that's first base. Like, if you want to get to them signing up, as in I want to get you in bed and we're going to exchange stuff, as in personal training, online coaching, don't get them in bed. Then you've obviously got to put a bit more graft in. It takes a little bit more time. And again, there's a difference between going out and you might be able to pull a girl on the first night and take them back. Or it might be that you need to pursue her for 3-4 months or even longer to even get a date. So I mean, there's different barriers to customers as there are with the same sex or opposite sex who you want to try and get into a relationship. So first of all, they need to know who you are, first of all. So when people go, oh, no one, it's like, how many opportunities have you created today? That's what I like to say to the guys. How many opportunities have you created today to provide value to the world? And the result you will get, so let's say you go there now and you go, I want 8 clients doing 8 weeks of body transformation like I did. The result would be what the result should be. So if I hadn't have spoken to as many people, if I hadn't have provided some value in some way, shape or form, then I would have got no one sign up.
Yeah.
So it's not, whenever it's on like online coaching, things take time. Like you can't just set up an Instagram account, post once with a picture of you topless and say, here's my coupon code for this supplement company, for this meat company, for this clothing company, for Uber, for Get, whatever it is. Like you need to provide value, and the higher price you charge, the more value you're probably going to have to provide.
Yeah.
So for me, getting from 20 to 30 clients to 50 isn't much of, like, there's nothing really new needs to happen apart from you just need to maybe get more brand awareness, put out more valuable content, and then actually ask. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people where they're sort of like two sides of the spectrum. They either don't give fuck all to the world and want everything done for them and expect you to just sign up with someone and part of money, or you got the other side where they just give, but they forget to ask. And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
So it's finding that balance between, do you follow like Gary Vaynerchuk and stuff like that?
Yeah. Jab, right hook. Yeah.
Yeah, jab, right hook. So you've got those which just jab, but they're never going to get a knockout.
Yeah.
And then you've got those which just keep swinging and missing the whole time, and like haven't got a clue about the art of boxing, and then they end up just like tiring themselves out, and they're like, I'm done, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's probably not the answer you want, but I don't think there's much, like once going from like 0 to 10 is a lot harder than going from 20 to 50.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think you can share. You've got more people to share on social media. You've got more transformation. So I think that's probably one of the best things that I've done, and what I've noticed with others is just share the shit out of your clients. Like when someone does a good job, share it. When they send you a message which is a positive, share it. Just keep sharing their results, and that will, like you said earlier, it will create that snowball effect that you're looking for. Yeah,
like when you have good clients, good people, and you're working with people you enjoy, they would just, you don't even have to ask them to
they just do it.
They'll just naturally do it just because you've got that relationship with them.
Yeah, for sure.
But that only comes with you doing your bit and your part, rather than giving them an email with their macros on.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. Yeah, for sure. That's a good piece of advice there. So in regards to like embracing setbacks, I think that's a big thing that as a coach we all experience with clients leaving. You feel like literally 4 leave at once, and then it's just like the whole world has ended. You've lost every bit of money you've owned over that month, and then it's just like I'm starting from starting point again. So I guess like for yourself, you've probably been through so many setbacks with Shredded by Science, De Novo, coaching when you were doing it. How do you get yourself in the right mindset for it and move forward each time?
It's all a game.
Yeah.
I'm a weird fucker. Like that's why I know I'm going to win, because I suppose it comes from when I was born, like I was competitive.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to lose, and everything's a competition to me. And it's easy for me to sit here now and saying, look, if I lose X amount of money, then I can, do you know what I mean? Because going back to the level of businesses, like there's different levels, and it's sort of like it's hard to get to that level. But then I think when you're there, you forget where you were previously, and sort of where you was contemplating buying a camera for £200, you then start buying cameras for £2,000, and then it starts building up. So it's a weird one, and it shifts over time. So I'm giving it to me, someone who's been in the industry a while now, rather than, because it's hard for me I can sort of remember what it was like. Basically, I've got a really shit memory, and everyone will say that. So it's hard for me to sit back and go, remember how it was when I first started, and the setbacks. For me, when people say, what's like what do you regret the most? I don't really see things as setbacks or mistakes. I just see them more as learning experiences.
Yeah.
And everything that's happened to me, whether I know consciously or subconsciously, has molded me into my mindset now, into the things I do and why I do them. I just do stuff innately without knowing why I do it. But I know that all of those setbacks or those mini hiccups have got me to the situation I am today at 32 years of age, where I make certain decisions or I handle things. It's about perspective. At the end of the day, you lost some clients, but you're still fucking alive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So let's be honest. Like, my thing is, if the worst case scenario is X, if I can personally live with that, I'm doing it. I don't care. Like, most people would not, and they worry too much and they overthink stuff and stuff like that. So in regards to setbacks, I've had a lot of shit to deal with de novo. Like a lot, which would like, we're talking near on 100k debt, clearing that, being in a situation where we're up, dealing with manufacturer errors, dealing with distribution centers, dealing with new manufacturers, labels of products. You just see them, you're like, months. This legal thing, you can't have this word, you need to have it's a licensed ingredient, you need to do that. So for me, it's not really setbacks, it's more of just learning experiences, and I just don't dwell on stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's done, like, especially if it's stuff out of your control, then like you can't control it, so let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
If it's stuff that you just didn't know and now you know, then again, learn from it, adapt, tweak stuff, and go forward with it. But I don't think, if you're the type of person who lets 4 clients leave you, crumble you, and then you shouldn't have your own business.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think what you said earlier as well, I hate to bring it back to Gary Vee because he's come up pretty much every episode now. But I specifically remember him saying, he doesn't annoy me now. I remember him saying on an Instagram post once, I think it was like, what's the worst thing that could happen to you? And I think that was, would you just move back in with your parents? Like, is that literally the worst thing that happens if your business goes wrong? Or do you have to go and get a normal job for a while to still pay your rent? Like, is that the worst thing? Shit
for 10, 15 years and then, do you know what I mean?
So like,
that's the thing. I think now with online and social media, it gives a lot more people a lot more opportunities, but it also gives them this feeling of self-entitlement that they should get stuff now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 32 and I've been training in fitness and clients since I was 18. So it's a long time. And there's other people who, how old are you, Jack?
I'm 23.
23. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious and wanting to get shit done. But then it's being patient and impatient at the same time. And what I mean by that is patience as in things don't happen. I'm so impatient. Like, when people say, Luke, when do you want it by? My answer is always yesterday. And people laugh, but I'm like, no, fucking seriously. Like, I want it now. So it's being impatient in your daily actions, as in you're putting the work in.
Yeah.
And then being patient in reaping the rewards, as in knowing that things don't happen overnight, but we need to be working on a daily basis to try and do everything we can to get there.
Yeah.
Setbacks, like, and that's the thing. One thing I'd say for like tips for online coaching: don't sell blocks, sell monthly. So that's one of the big things that I preach for many years, is having the benefits of employed and self-employment. And what I mean by that is, when you take on a client, you can still work it out, the price, if they're doing 3 sessions a week, 2 sessions, or 1 session a week. And I think that helps with client retention as well. And I think if we've got people who are actually training people in person now, it's a good way to start. I don't think the only difference I give in regards to in-person and online person training is that you have to actually see someone in a specific place at a specific time.
Yeah.
And because of that burden, you actually charge them more money. But I think if people just incorporated into their services like a 3 sessions, or 2 sessions, or 1 session, or once a month, never see me every 3 months or whatever it is, when people move away, they can go to online coaching, because you're still using the same systems. You're still giving them the Dropbox folder with the sheets, with the weekly check-ins, whether that's done in person or actually online. So the service should still be the same. So taking that into account, I think people lose, rather than losing those 4 clients, if people just do block sessions and they sign up and they pay for the 10 sessions after they've just been paid, But it works out at the end of the 10 sessions, halfway through the month, they don't have the money to start again. And there's that 2-week period of as in, oh, fuck, are they going to sign up again?
Yeah.
When you go to monthly, you know how much. So, I'm getting 10 clients paying £100. That's £1,000 a month.
Yeah.
If I get a new client, 1,100. If I lose a client, it's 900.
Yeah.
So you're building this business where you, and that's the other thing is make sure that the money comes out when they want it to come out. So like if they go to buy a car, they say, oh, and they're paying monthly, when do you want the payment to come out? So they know that. You get paid on the 28th. Do you want the online coaching or the personal training to go out on the 28th, 29th? Let me know what day it is and we can get that done. You set them up on Go Cardless, on PayPal, whatever it is you want to do. They then don't have to think about the money coming out. It then gets lost with all their other bills. It then becomes part of their life and their sort of, oh, it's just like, my phone was just like, whatever it is they sign up to. And I think that helps with client retention. But I think what helps with actually getting clients to stay is a client might start off as a beginner and they might want to see you 3 times per week. They might have a wedding coming up and they might go, Luke, can I train with you 4 times a week? You say, yeah, I can fit you in. We can do that. And then letting them know when they're signing up that, look, you don't have to stay on 3 per week. We can go from 3 to 2 to 1. We can go from 1 to 2 to 3. We can go through once a month, and giving them this sliding scale of services with different price points to help suit them at their specific time and their specific goals. So it's not as in you're either with me or you're not with me. You can be with me for 3 times a week, and that's more money, or you can be with me once a week or once a month, or you move away. And that's why my thing is the only time you shouldn't. Not like you shouldn't ever lose a client, but let's say you keep losing clients because they're moving away and it's stuff that you just can't. That's something you can control.
Yeah.
Do online. If it's as in they've been made redundant and they have zilch money whatsoever, then that's
you can't control that. Yeah,
you can't control that, and they don't have the money to pay for your service, so it's like fair enough. They have to go through stuff. The partner loses their job, and you'll get those things, and they're the things you can't control. So I think you should, if your whole business is predicated on sort of one big client and then they lose and then they leave and then you've lost 50% of your revenue. So I think the monthly definitely helps because you know where you stand. You have that consistency in regards to, you've got X amount of clients paying this much.
Yeah.
If you want to make more money, you just need to get an extra client. If you lose a client, you know what you need to do. And I think what a lot of trainers do is they get to client capacity and they forget to do anything else. They forget to post on Instagram. They forget to do all the stuff that got them to get their clients in the first place. They forget to go and do the workshops. They stop talking to people on the gym floor. They get complacent. They think, oh, I've got them now, and they think everyone's going to stay with them forever.
Yeah.
Well, people have real lives and real struggles, and people do lose their jobs. So it's making sure that when you are getting to client capacity, you can tone down your free stuff you put out in regards to like social media content, but don't seize it completely. Always be providing value in some way, shape or form, so that if you do get into the situation where you've lost 4 clients, you're not in a position where you feel like you have to start everything back up again to then get the new 4 clients on. You should be in a position where it's like, okay, I've lost them, I'll take someone on.
That's it certainly rings true of a few things that I've had to deal with in the past, like where I've really, really worried about losing one client, but now it's just a case of if they leave and I can't control it, just got to focus on building up and just putting it behind you. So the more time you spend worrying about it, the more time you're going to be not putting out content, not treating your current clients right because you're so worried about that one person who's left. So
it's having the same mindset with your business as you try it and instill on your clients, as in small little things, do this and every single day. Keep doing that, be consistent with it, and you will get results. It's the same with a trainer. It's like, Instagram, like spend a little bit of time, plan your content, create your content, schedule your content, interact with your content. Like sometimes that's the thing, when you go from employed to being self-employed and having your own business and having an online business, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Sometimes most of the time it doesn't work because you still need structure and you need to be disciplined as in what you do. So like you have more freedom now, because when I was teaching, I had to teach X class at X time for this class, and I had to teach this lesson. So when you've got your whole day planned out for you and scheduled, it's a lot easier because you don't have to think about stuff. But then when you actually you are your own boss, you then start cutting corners and you go, I'll just play PlayStation for a little bit and then I'll do that.
Just a quick game on FIFA and then you've suddenly...
just a quick game. And before you know it, it's 3 a.m. in the morning and you're like, oh, I better go to bed. I've got another client at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like having principles. So going, right, I need to do this. I need to do this on a daily basis. I need to do this on a weekly basis. I need to do this on a monthly basis. And sticking by your guns. I think if you don't have that structure, I don't see how by having that in place, it's a lot easier to build a business because you're actually pre-planning it rather than just on the fly gonna go, I'm just gonna post it on Instagram and it's Monday, so I'll use hashtag Motivation Monday or Woman Crush Wednesday or whatever it is. Like you need to plan stuff. It's like a client, if they don't prep their meals and then it's like, oh shit, I'm going out to this place and they only have that, then it creates panic and then they make not as good decisions and they don't get as good of results. And it's the same sort of with business.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And just quickly, but I'm going to wrap up the online trainer side because I want to go and talk about Shredded by Science. Would you say like actual trainers, should they have something to work towards in the long term instead of just online coaching? Do you think there should be something they should branch out of? Because like, obviously, as an online trainer, you've got to realize like that will either last forever for as long as you want it to, or can you build it to a new business like Shredded by Science? Like, do you think it's good for trainers to have that plan to move away from it in time?
I think it's a weird one because you had like one-to-one personal training, but actually we're in the gym, and I'm like, can I see myself doing this when I'm 50 years of age? No. I'll start doing online coaching then.
Yeah.
So then they do that. And then you'll get to a stage where you go like online coaching, you've gone, okay, I've gone from in person to online, so I'm with the times. I'm on the interwebs, so I'm with the times. And now you've got people going, okay, online coaching, what can I do more? And I think it's just a gradual progression. And I think to answer your question, some people should yes, and some people should no. Like, look at machine learning. Like my thing is, if someone can do your job, then you deserve to lose.
Yeah.
So my thing is, there's more and more software coming out. Jack could then create his own software, which is if someone's not lost weight, you have like little principles. So right, I'm gonna progressively overloading certain rep schemes and whatever it is. If someone hasn't lost weight for a certain period of time, you're going to make certain decisions. I'm going to drop some fat, I'm going to do this or whatever.
Yeah.
A machine can do that. It's going to get to a stage where a machine can actually do that. And then when something's charged at like $10 a month rather than $200 a month, then you're there. So I think you should always be moving with the times. I think even with content-based business as well, like there's so much content now. Like when I first had Alan Aragon over, it was like no one from America was really coming over from that science, evidence-based world and thingy. But then once Alan come over, and then Brad come over, and then Eric come over, and then 2 years later, and then 3 years later, when they're now going all around Europe and they've been to the UK for 5 times, like it loses its appeal. Like they've been there. There's not like a new macronutrient coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a new study, and guess what? It just reinforces what we already knew, and it always comes back down to, well, even though a study shows that, it still comes down to personal preference. So I think it depends context. Do you know what I mean? It's like, potentially you could lose more weight like that, but if you actually don't, if you can't adhere to it, then no, it's pointless. So I think that's the thing. But what I learned let's go from my personal experience in regards to Shredded by Science. So we went from me to them 3. And when I first started off, the coaches had like 75-70%. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing nothing. And then when I took on new coaches, it was like a pay scale. So they started off on like 60% if they had X amount of clients, and then it went up if they had more and more. So the more clients I had, the more cut you had.
Yeah.
But then it was a weird one because I had sort of I was teaching the college for 5 years. I had a teaching degree. I was a bro, and now I'm not a bro, and it's sort of people either put up or shut up. And I was like, look, I know how shit the personal trainer qualification is because I used to teach it for 5 years. So let's do the SBS Academy. And with that, it was just, I wanted it to be the personal trainer qualification you wish you had, with the element of Helms, of coaching physique athletes, like in the course structure. There's a difference between a podcast, between a webinar, between an ebook to a book to an online course. Like there's different levels. Like a podcast, like this podcast could be a webinar and it could be the same value.
Yeah.
But then you could also turn it into a course where there's quizzes and there's other stuff alongside that. People will pay different amounts of money if they see, people hear ebook and they think it's free or like really cheap, and then people like a paperback book, 10 quid, and a hardback book, maybe 15 quid. People already have that because society's is sort of the norm.
Drained into us.
So I my thing with that was I'm hardly getting any money from client. Like if it was me on my own, there's a limit to how many clients I can take on. So there's a limit to how much money I can make. So my thing is take on other people to work for you. I can then make more money, which I did. It scaled up. But then it was always as in, okay, I'm still we're going to need hundreds or thousands of clients, and that's a pain in the ass to manage, and that's hard to get 1,000 clients online unless you create the software and it wasn't personalized, because then to get 1,000 clients, that's a lot of coaches you'd need to manage.
Yeah, tons of work.
It's too much. So with SBS, it was okay. Now we're appealing to the personal trainer. I mean, we had quite a lot of personal trainers do our online coaching anyway. We had a lot, and that was because of the content we were putting out, which was, especially on Facebook when we started off, we'd put in references in posts, and it was appealing to that target audience. And we actually, probably about 50 to 60% of our clients who we online coach were personal trainers. So then when it came to the SBS Academy, it was creating a course where you put a lot of work. It's still trading time for money, but you're trading a lot. It's like writing a book. You might spend 50 to 100 hours writing a book, but then compared to doing online coaching where it's an hour per week or whatever it is. So when we created the SBS Academy, I was getting the majority of the money. So I'm like, I like this business because I don't need as many coaches. We don't need to manage stuff. It's just create the content, create the course, create the customer service experience community, and maintain it, and then just keep evolving from there, changing it. So we went from horrible looking slides to module 1 and module 4 illustrated, to then module 2 and 3 illustrated, to then, rather than using WordPress, to actually spending a decent amount of money on our own custom software. So it's one thing I would say is when you're starting off in business, try not to make your millions in a year, 1 or 2 years. Try and reinvest everything. So like I invested a lot of money, I still do, in regards to making the academy better, from having it fully illustrated to then having our own software, to bringing in Laura, who's our operations manager, hiring staff, so then I don't have to do with all that shit, and I can actually think of more bigger picture strategy stuff, and playing PUBG on PC and become a PC gamer. So there's different stages. So to answer your question, there's nothing wrong with you trying to do something else. Just realize if you're going to try and do another academy or try and do this, you're already 2-3 years behind me.
And don't bother.
But no, it's like, do it, but there's plenty to go around. But I don't give a fuck. I'm here to dominate. I'm not here to compete. I'm here to kill every single person business wise. I'm not going to kill anyone. Like, if anyone dies who knows of me, it wasn't me. But that's the thing. I think a lot of trainers are always comparing themselves to other trainers. Oh, what's this person doing? What's that person doing? It's going back to the thing, just do it.
Yeah.
I know exactly what every single competitor is doing, but I don't dwell on it, and I'll go, that's good, or that's not good. I can do that better. So there's nothing that I've done in business that is new, or like every online coaching was already there. Academies were already there. I'm just doing stuff. I can control the stuff I do. So I know that there's not, like, I look up to Precision Nutrition. in regards to they've been around for years and they're still around and they get good numbers and their branding's good. I look up to them. And there's different levels. Like precision nutrition for me is up there. So if I'm looking at where do they've been around a lot longer, where do I want to be? I know that I can only control what I do, but I can still appreciate other businesses. And what I like to do now is I'm not even in the fitness. Like, I don't care. I don't follow anyone in fitness. Like, I really don't spend no time, no energy or nothing with anyone in fitness. It bores the shit out of me. Like, it's the same old people with some new people who are younger, who are newer, who just want to sell their little shitty guides. I'm like, cool. Like, what I do now is I look at other industries. I look at the esports market. I look at other brands in different industries, and I take more value from that than I do in the fitness industry, because it gets a little bit samey.
Yeah.
So you get to a point and you're like, oh, this person's doing that and that's good and this is good. Like, everything moves over time. Like, the principles are the principles. Like, specificity. Oh, we want to get good at running. All right, swim. Do you know what I mean? So it's exactly the same business. It's just different mediums. Is it Instagram now? Is it podcast? Is it VR? Is it AR? What is it? Everything moves with the time, but the principles are still the principles. So that if you want more than having 40, 50 online clients, you can maintain that. And you might be happy with that because you might be able to live the life you want to live. Yeah. You're happy with that, you crack on with that. But always just make sure you're tweaking stuff and you're moving with the times, and you're always adapting, or you're always reinvesting to make what you're currently doing better.
Yeah.
Because then what you're currently doing better helps you go from 30 clients to 50 clients.
Yeah.
But then if you want more than that, then good for you. But then you just need to do something. Like, if a market's really overcrowded, you have to be the goddamn best. Like, to stand out. Like, if there's like low demand, high supply, then it's like you have to be really good. And like with most businesses, look at like Facebook and that, they've got market share. Like, look at Amazon, bang, they've got market share. Like, if something's really, that's why the supplement game's a weird one, because you need money to get into that game. Like, this is the first time I've been in, and I'm enjoying it because it's like I have to spend X amount of money before I get X amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard.
It's a big game to be in, supplements, isn't it? Big game to be in. Like, how did it come about anyway? How did you actually, like, what was the reason for starting it? Like,
yeah, I've always, going back to everything's a game. I want to test myself. So I was like, right. At the time I was looking at investing. So I've got money in the bank, and I'm like, okay, SBS is going well. We're actually rebranding SBS. This will be the last ever SBS Academy. Breaking news on this podcast on August 28th.
Wow. Okay. What, the last ever opening?
The last ever SBS Academy as it stands.
Okay.
We will change name. We will change structure. We will change systems. We will change a lot.
Yeah.
We're still going to be providing the best goddamn trainer education, but again, it's going back to a business evolves. When we started off, it was 3 dudes trying to coach young dudes to get sex.
Yeah.
Now we're not that. So the name, there's a disconnect. So Jack, it's been a hard one. Like, this is changing the name, this and that. That's been like a year process.
Yeah.
And the amount of times where I've gone, not ready yet, because I don't want it to impact. That's the thing. The last 2 intakes, we've got 185 students sign up. The last 2 intakes. I'm like, if we rebrand too close to an academy launch, even though the academy content and stuff is exactly going to be the same, if we just change the name or we change the look completely, we've gone from where's the fuck's SBS gone, and what's this new company? And that was too much of a risk. So going back to the thing, can I live with that? I could probably live with it, but I won't be comfortable with it. And if I can do something differently and tweak it slightly and just adapt slightly, and it still gives me the result I want, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to invest more. My ideal day is probably waking up, maybe training, probably not, playing computer games, and having multiple different businesses to check in on.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, where are we at with the supplements? But how's that run coming? Right, we need that formula. Blah, 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 blah. Right, how's that new course coming? Where are we up to? Right, launch date. What I like is I like the excitement of launching stuff. I like doing new stuff, new things, I create spreadsheets of launching stuff. I create 12 weeks out, 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out. That's my thing. That's what I enjoy. It's not 12 weeks out from a bodybuilding competition or a powerlifting meet. It's 12 weeks out from an academy launch or a course launch or a supplement launch. And I wanted to invest in other stuff. So you look at everyone, you can have like a successful business, but even look at Facebook, like how many businesses have they bought?
Tons.
So it's reinvesting. So at the time I was thinking, let's look at stocks and shares. And I'm going, okay, put your money in this mutual fund. I'm like, I'm not putting my money in a mutual fund and letting someone else dictate to whether I make money or not.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at return on investment. Oh, you get 20%. You could get 15, 20% on blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can get better return on investment if I just invest in myself or in other businesses that I can control. So it goes back to reinvesting to then build more. And then Eric and Mike were over for the conference and they started talking about Ben Escrow and De Novo. And I knew of Ben and I knew of De Novo. And they said, oh yeah, I think Ben's struggling a little bit. And I'm like, I'll invest in it. So at the time I was thinking of investing after the whole stocks and shares things, and I started trying to learn it. I thought, nah, this ain't me. And then I was looking at other gyms. So I was looking at people which actually have a facility and maybe investing in that and being able to help build their membership and maybe something else. And then when they said that, I was like, well, it's a different industry, but then it's not too far. Do you know what I mean? It's not completely different. Like fitness people, trainers and stuff still take supplements. And I take supplements, so I know to a certain degree. And then me and Ben got on Skype for 3.5 hours. And I was like, after that, he was like, do you want to buy the company? And I was like an hour after the Skype. And I'm like, well, I probably ain't got the money you want for me to buy the company, but I'd invest in it. And then we started talking. Then I invested in it. So I'm a 50-50 owner in De Novo now. It's based in US. Trying to get that product in the UK, my goodness.
Hard.
Well, that's the thing. You do it, and then it's like, okay, customs, VAT.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it?
20% on X amount. And so then you're dealing with manufacturers in the UK. You're speaking to one of the biggest ones out there for 9 months. The sales guy leaves. You speak to the line manager. He says, how many units are you looking per year? You tell him, no, you can't. We can't do custom formulas for that. You need to be in the millions. So, I mean, you think the fitness industry is fucked. My goodness, the supplement industry. And that's what I want to try and do with De Novo and stuff like that. Like, Ben is stupidly clever. Like, if you watch Breaking Bad, he's Walter White and I'm Jesse Pinkman. And that's the thing, because we are very different people-wise, but we are very similar in values and that. And what I saw with De Novo early on was they were similar to us with, like, SBS. As in, they were evidence-based. They weren't just making any shitty supplements. They were actually putting that content which was above. And what I said is like, you're putting that content which should be suited to more for personal trainers rather than people who just want supplements. So again, we've had a rebranding of that. We've got new products. We've got new labels. We've got, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of work that's gone into that. But give me like a year's time, and I'll probably forget about all of this bad shit. But yeah, that's pretty much where I wanted it to be. I want to invest in multiple different businesses. I want to test myself in different industries. And I mean, the supplement. And that's the thing. With De Novo, I got into it and I was like, look, let's get the company up to sell it to around 20 million plus. We take our money. So I mean, so it's a weird one. With like SBS, it's my baby. With De Novo, it's like Ben's baby.
Yeah, you're not too invested if you sell it. It's money at the end of the day. Yeah,
it's going into a business and knowing what you want as an outcome. So I know now working with Ben, we can get it to that stage, and me and Ben will just go, right, let's create another supplement company. Let's do this. Let's do that. So I want to get into. I like new stuff, new challenges, and it's definitely a fucking challenge. And it's definitely different going from selling like a content-based education system, which doesn't require a shit ton of money to get it started, compared to consumer goods. And actually this costs X amount of money, and we need to get a minimum of 1,000 of each flavour that's a lot of money. And then you've got to sell it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm from Southeast London, only Falls and Horses I was brought up on. So I'm looking forward to trying to flog all of the actual products. And I mean, that has if you look at it, I've gone from a personal trainer market. And if you look at the average salary of a personal trainer in the UK or in London, it's only like 19 grand. To then so when you're trying to create a 1,150 or 115 pound over 12 months online education for trainers which don't really have that much money, or trainers that don't feel they need to do it because they've got their 6-week PT cert.
Yeah.
It's the supplement industry is a vast industry, and because it is that they actually consume the goods and they have to repeat business. I mean, that has big potential, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's good. So is that the big
and
plan?
I get free supplements. How weird it is actually seeing your product. So like we've had all of the old De Novo product, and I use an analogy. It's like I've adopted stepkids. So I've not had any say in how they've been brought up, and I've adopted them.
Mm-hmm.
And some might be misbehaving, and like they're not listening to the stepdad. So now we actually have the new products where we've actually combined together for branding, for formulations, and we spoke to hundreds of manufacturers. I've been over to America. I've visited the manufacturers because it's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of money they're getting, and if the product's fucked, they're not going, oh, it's your manufacturer. They're going, it's De Novo. So there's a lot of trust in regards to that process. So we've done our due diligence. We've gone through a lot of shit, but it actually feels like we're getting to a place now where we're getting the product and we're ready to go, and then it's bang, UK market.
Yeah. So do you think it'll be in the UK market by this year then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It better be.
Better be, yeah.
It better be, I'll tell you that, because this stuff, but going back to when we first started speaking, this was supposed to be launching in February.
Yeah.
Everything, and we still ain't there. But even like the time, like it takes 8 to 12 weeks for them, once they finalise everything, to then do the run, because then they've got to get the raw ingredients. That's why I've said to Ben, look, we need to get to a stage where we manufacture for ourselves. And he's like, look, you ain't going to like to hear this, but we can do that now for the size we're doing. The only downside is you need to have all the GDPR and all this legislation, then the facilities and like the machinery cost a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So we probably need to have at least a 2 to 3 mil in the bank to then be able to create our own manufacturing process, because I don't like middlemen, but then we need them, because then the manufacturer then got to go to the suppliers to ask for the raws, and then they go, oh, it's going to take 6 weeks, and then it's like, oh, we want a black canister tub, oh, that's going to take 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So you've got so many different variables which are out of our control that dictate on when we can actually get the product, which I don't like, because I like to have control. So that's why I'm like,
control, yeah.
we need to have our own manufacturing process, and then when we've got that, we can then manufacture for other people, and then we can do this, and we can do that. So it's thinking we're here now, but we're always thinking where we want to go.
So business, that becomes another business at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah.
We know how much hardship and pain and time and how we've not enjoyed the process, and then it goes back to trainers.
Yeah.
Everyone complains there's so many personal trainers, but there's so many shit trainers. So even if you're average, you're going to look good.
Yeah.
And it's the same there, where we've gone through this process and we know that there's a demand for it, and there's a gap where people just aren't doing good things. So there's definitely a niche there if you're American.
Yeah, niche. Awesome. That was great to hear about the plans of Shredded by Science and also De Novo. So looking forward to seeing the new launch of SBS anyway, or what it will become anyway. So yeah, like before we end this one, where can obviously the listeners find out more about De Novo and Shredded by Science? Where can they find out some more, mate?
Yeah, so for Shredded by Science, you can just go to our website, shreddedbyscience.com, and all of our socials are at the top, or you can just go at Shred by Science. We put out mainly our content on Instagram, so probably follow there if you want to follow anywhere. For De Novo, it's De Novo Sups, again, across all platforms, or denovosups.com, and you'll be able to find all of the little icons to the relevant social media.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, really appreciate you coming on, mate. That was awesome podcast to record, and I'm sure all the listeners took lots away from it, and they'll probably put off of the supplement industry now as well as a whole.
Yeah, don't do it.
Knowing the pain state. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, mate. So yeah, that concludes episode 9 of today. So thank you for listening, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.